The fluorescent lights of the rundown diner flickered like dying stars over the cracked vinyl booths, casting long shadows across the face of a woman no one wanted to look at twice. Her name was Captain Elena Vasquez, though the faded name tape on her threadbare jacket had long since peeled away, leaving only the ghost of who she used to be. She sat alone at the counter, nursing a cup of coffee that had gone cold an hour ago, her calloused fingers tracing the rim as if it were the edge of a memory she couldn't let go. Outside, a late autumn rain hammered the windows, blurring the neon open sign into a smear of red. The waitress avoided her eyes. The truckers at the far table whispered. "Washed-up soldier," one of them muttered, loud enough for her to hear. Probably faked her service for the benefits. Elena didn't flinch. She'd heard worse. But tonight something inside her cracked, just a hairline fracture in the armor she'd worn since the day they stripped her of everything. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss what happens next. Trust me, this story's about to explode. It started 3 years earlier, in the choking dust of a classified forward operating base in the Hindu Kush. Elena led a ghost unit, 12 operatives so deep under cover their own mothers wouldn't recognize them. Their mission, extract a high-value target from a warlord's mountain fortress. Intel said it would be surgical. Reality delivered hell. The warlord had been tipped off. RPGs tore through the night. Elena's team fought room to room, bullets sparking off stone walls, the air thick with cordite and screams. She carried her wounded radio man on her back for 2 miles under fire, his blood soaking through her uniform until it looked black in the moonlight. When the dust settled, only 3 of them walked out. The official report called it a strategic withdrawal. The brass called Elena a liability. She refused to sign the sanitized after-action review. That painted her team as collateral damage. So they buried her career in a manila folder marked administrative separation, mental instability. They took her rank, her pension, her name. They left her with nightmares and a duffel bag. Back in the diner, the bell above the door jingled. A man in a crisp army dress uniform stepped inside, rain dripping from the brim of his cover. 4 stars gleamed on his shoulders. The truckers fell silent. The waitress dropped a plate. General Harlan Brooks, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, face you'd seen on CNN briefing the president, surveyed the room like he was clearing a sector. His eyes locked on Elena. She didn't look up. She didn't need to. She felt the weight of his stare like a targeting laser. "Captain Vasquez," he said, voice low but carrying the authority of a lifetime giving orders. The diner froze. Elena finally lifted her head. Her right hand slid beneath the counter, fingers brushing the grip of the compact lock she still carried. Old habits. "Stand down, soldier," Brooks said, softer now. "I'm not here to arrest you." He reached into his coat and pulled out a small velvet box. Every eye in the place followed it. He opened it. Inside lay a silver emblem the size of a quarter, a stylized phoenix rising from a broken chain, encircled by 13 stars. Elena's breath caught. That emblem wasn't in any public record. It was the mark of Project Erebus, the blackest of black ops, so classified that even the Senate Intelligence Committee had been denied its existence. The general placed the box on the counter between them. "You were never supposed to wear this in daylight," he said, "but the country owes you a debt it tried to erase." Elena stared at the emblem like it might bite her. Memories flooded back. Burning villages, encrypted sat phones, the warlord's face as she put 2 rounds in his chest while her radioman bled out against her shoulder. She'd been ordered to forget it all. Instead, it had forgotten her. Brooks turned. To the room. Everyone out. Now. The truckers scrambled. The waitress fumbled for her purse. In 30 seconds, the diner was empty except for the rain and the hum of the dying neon. Brooks locked the door, flipped the sign to closed, and sat across from her. 3 days ago, he began, we intercepted chatter. The warlord's brother, Assad Rahimi, put a bounty on your head. 5 million. He's coming to finish what his brother started. Elena's laugh was bitter, hollow. Let him come. I've got nothing left to lose. Brooks leaned in. That's where you're wrong. He slid a tablet across the counter. On the screen, satellite imagery of a convoy moving through the Rockies, less than 200 miles away. Black SUVs, military-grade encryption on their comms. Rahimi's stateside, Brooks said. He's got ex-Spetsnaz mercs, drone swarms, the works. And he's not subtle. He wants you public, humiliated, dead on camera. Elena's pulse thrummed in her ears. For the first time in years, it wasn't fear, it was the old fire. "Why tell me?" she asked. Brooks tapped the emblem. "Because Erebus never disbanded. We just went darker, and we need our best operator back in the field." She wanted to say no, wanted to tell him to take his stars and his secrets and shove them, but then she saw the second image on the tablet, a grainy still from a hostage video. A teenage girl, bound, gagged, tears cutting tracks through the dust on her cheeks. The caption read, "Insurance policy, Camp Tipton, Colorado." Elena's stomach dropped. Camp Tipton was a summer camp for military kids. The girl was Sophie, her radio man's daughter, the one she'd promised to look after if he didn't make it home. Elena closed her eyes. The fracture in her armor split wide open. Night fell hard over the mountains. Elena stood on the ridge above Camp Tipton, the emblem now pinned beneath her collar, hidden but burning against her skin. Below, floodlights carved white scars across the forest. Rahimi's men moved like wolves. 12 of them, maybe more. She counted 2 sniper nests, a drone operator on the mess hall roof, and a mobile command truck idling by the lake. Sophie was in the chapel, hands zip-tied to a pew. Elena checked her watch, 2:14. Brooks had given her a sat phone and a single directive, no official support. "If you're caught, you're a ghost." She smiled in the dark. She'd always been a ghost. She moved like smoke through the pines, the Glock suppressed, a stolen kabar taped to her thigh. First sniper, throat slit before he could key his mic. Second, garrote wire, silent drop. The drone operator never saw the monomolecular filament that severed his control line. His bird spiraled into the lake with a splash that sounded like applause. Inside the chapel, Rahimi waited, flanked by 2 mercs. He was taller than his brother, crueler eyes. Sophie whimpered when he stroked her hair with a gloved hand. "Your American hero will come," he crooned, "and I will gut her in front of you." Elena breached the side door with a flashbang. The mercs spun, muzzle flashes strobing. She dropped the first with a double tap to the plate gap, the second with a knife through the visor. Rahimi lunged, combat knife flashing. Steel rang on steel. He was fast, Spetsnaz trained, maybe Chechen. He sliced her forearm, blood soaked her sleeve. She fainted high, drove her knee into his groin, then slammed the butt of her Glock into his temple. He dropped, groaning. Sophie's eyes were saucers. "Captain Lena?" the girl whispered. Elena cut her bonds. "Run, kid, follow the creek, don't look back." But Rahimi wasn't finished. He triggered a dead man's switch. Red lights blinked on C4 bricks wired to the chapel support beams. 30 seconds. Elena dragged him up by the collar. "Defuse it." He spat blood, laughed. "Never." She pressed the Glock to his forehead. "Then you die first." His eyes flickered. Fear, finally. "Codes 7-3, 9-1, he rasped. She punched it in with seconds to spare. The red lights died. Outside, floodlights swept the tree line. The remaining mercs were closing in. Elena scooped Sophie into a fireman's carry and bolted for the woods. Bullets shredded bark around them. She felt the burn of a round graze her calf but didn't slow. At the ridge, a blacked-out MH6 little bird waited, rotors whispering. Brooks leaned out, reaching. Elena tossed Sophie aboard, then turned. Rahimi stumbled into the clearing, raising a pistol. Elena drew, fired once. Sent a mass. He fell like a puppet with cut strings. The chopper lifted into the night. Sophie clung to her, sobbing. Brooks handed Elena a folded flag, the one that had draped her radioman's coffin. "Welcome home, Captain," he said. She looked down at the camp shrinking below, the chapel dark, the emblem warm against her chest. For the first time in 3 years, the nightmares felt small. Dawn broke over Walter Reed. Sophie slept in a hospital bed, her mother at her side. Elena stood on the balcony, dress blues crisp, the phoenix emblem now pinned openly above her heart. A news crew filmed from the lawn. Official story, decorated veteran foils terrorist plot. the truth would stay buried. Brooks approached, offered a salute. She returned it, eyes wet. "What now, sir?" He smiled. "Now, we rebuild the team. Erebus rises." She looked east, where the sun bled gold across the Potomac. Somewhere out there, the next war was already whispering her name. And that's the story they'll never teach in schools. The one that began in a forgotten diner and ended with a ghost coming back to life. If this hit you in the feels, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Quick question before you go. From which part of the country are you watching this video? Drop your state in the comments. I read every single one.